of stand-up,
Right.
really, and wanted to go into his own acting
Right.
and producing. Yeah.
And Tom, of course, is doing great on the stand-up part.
Yes, he is.
He's you see him an awful lot on the Tonight Show, one of his favorite places. Very, very funny guy.
Actually,
Stand-
Letterman, he's doing more of those now, I think.
Is that right?
He does them both, but I think he and David Letterman are particularly close.
It is very interesting where and we were kind of talking about this, where people pick up their experiences and stand-up comedy, and of course we're in the middle of where a lot of the Milton Berles, Sid Caesars, Red Buttons, Skelton, they were all trained over in what we call the Borscht Belt, but over in the Sullivan County area, and it is a tough business. To me, comedy is the hardest.
Yes,
it is the hardest.
I started as a stand-up in college, so I know. I got out of it very quickly. After the first time they didn't laugh at one of my jokes, I was out of there. I said, this isn't for me. No.
It is really tough, though, isn't it?
Well, I think it's the most naked of the. I mean, you're out there. You're yourself. You're not really anybody other than yourself. You can't hide behind any makeup or anything.
Right.
And as I say, if they don't laugh, it's tough.
Yeah.
Just the ego. I mean, not getting them to laugh that's hard. That's very hard.
But Tom Dreesen is going to just be tremendous at the chance.
Yeah.
Now, something else that you're doing that you're talented and I keep dragging you into these things, and you keep telling me, but the other one is something that actually you have been just getting nationwide just tremendous recognition for, and that is the sublet. And I went. I heard the sublet was playing up in upstate, and I went there along with hundreds of other people. Could not get a seat. Sold out, but it is on. Is it still on the film circuit at this point, or it's now going to be premiering?
Yes, it is. And we're going to keep playing it until they let Nancy get a seat. That's why we're going to keep doing it. If I'd known that, I would have said, we keep it running until you see it. We're very excited that it's going to premiere in New York at the Quad Cinema on January 16th, the week of the 16th through the 22nd, and that's on 13th between 5th and 6th Avenue. And it's played all over the country and won. Gratefully, it's gotten some nice Best Feature awards and what have you, and I've met a lot of exciting filmmakers by going to the festivals.
Right.
And I'll tell you, Nancy, you always wonder why you have 3 kids sometimes, in these economic times. But now I know. My son got me this part. He was the cinematographer, Danny Simon, for the producer-director, Georgiana Nestor, on her first short film. This is, and she asked him, she said, "Does your dad still act?" And he said, "Yes." And so I went and auditioned.
Wow.
So that's why you should have kids, as you know, you get work, you get lots of work. If you
there.
wait long enough.
You're your agent.
You got to wait long enough, though.
What is the sublet about? And you're saying it is a director that's
She's a Romanian American.
Oh, Romanian. I'm sorry.
Yeah. The sublet is really about an old widower. Who's playing that role? Oh, yes, I played that. An old widower who lives on the Upper West Side in Manhattan, and whose wife has been gone about 11 years. He was happily married, and he now is quite lonely and doesn't really have a life. And so he's looking to start some kind of new life. Gets the idea that if he can put an ad in the paper to sublet his apartment, he will meet some interesting people, which he does. And he does meet interesting people, including I would say a hitman, a lovely young lady who happens to come from Poughkeepsie, running away to New York City. Figure that. That's just the of this, that she actually was from Poughkeepsie in the play, in the screenplay.
No,
I didn't know that when I actually had auditioned. And his life is turned upside down. That's sort of the plot. What it's really about, I think, is something probably about how life is really worth living if you hang in there long enough. And it was, for me, extremely gratifying that not only to play the role, but for me, although I'd always been an actor, I never had an opportunity to do a film with a role this rich,
right.
and to wait as long as I had to is very gratifying. I always wonder how the Beatles felt when they were such successes at 20 years old.
Right.
Because where you're going to go, you know? I think there's some, it's fun to kind of wait and when things come to you and to feel, well, maybe life does begin a little later in certain aspects, that you can go in different directions or pick up on what you did before. And so the film is really about that, and I felt that it reflected how I felt personally in my own life, that it gives you a new shot in the arm. Things you don't always expect to happen, and we all get a little bit down and worry about what we're going to do and whether we should change streams, and people think you're successful, but you yourself say, well, yeah, but I want more. I want to try something new, and so this kind of was an exciting project, and I'm hoping that you know, it's just a little film. It's a sweet film.
It's done very well.
And we hope that people will come and see it, and then we'll see what happens after that.
Well, certainly we're going to be seeing a lot of you in 2009 on many different levels. In May, the pageant production in terms of the Revolutionary War Shipyard dedication. In July, we're going to actually be featuring the sublet as part of the film festival on July 11th and 12th, I believe that is, at the a new venue. It's the Under the Bridge, the Children's Museum.
On the river
On
again.
the river.
There
It's just going to be a great place to do it. And then in August, we're going to be, you're helping to produce the Tom Dreesen vaudeville show that we're going to be doing with Dr. Muir. It just, you know, it just, to me, just shows not only how very many different venues you can have within a city like the city of Poughkeepsie. But I'm just constantly amazed, Roger, at all the many talents that you bring to this city and to the state of New York. We're just very lucky to have somebody like you.
Nancy, thank you. And thanks for making it possible for a lot of people to do their thing up here. It's
well,
really nice.
That's really what it's all about. And Roger, glad to have you on the Hudson Valley Views. It's an awful lot of fun.
Thanks for having me.
Well, you haven't seen the last of this guy. He's going to be around town for 2009 on many different levels. And we want to not only invite you to work with us or come and join us on the Quadricentennial, but have a good time as well. And for all of you, the very best this coming year and the very best of holidays. I'm Nancy Cozean. This is Hudson Valley Views. We'll see you next time.